What if one of the most famous paintings in history was hiding secrets so profound that they continue to spark debates, inspire theories, and ignite curiosity even after 500 years? The Mona Lisa, Leonardo da Vinci's most iconic masterpiece, has been admired by millions, yet few truly grasp the depth of mystery that lies behind her enigmatic smile and piercing gaze. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Imagine standing before the Mona Lisa in the Louvre, surrounded by a sea of visitors. Some lean closer, almost hypnotized by her half-smile. Others tilt their heads, convinced she's watching them no matter where they stand. Has this ever happened to you? That moment when her eyes seem alive, following your every move. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might surprise you, challenging everything you thought you knew about art, history, and even human perception. Leonardo da Vinci, the genius of the Renaissance, was far more than just an artist. He was a scientist, an engineer, a philosopher, and a dreamer who refused to accept limits. His mind was a vast universe, always seeking connections between art and science, between truth and imagination. When he painted the Mona Lisa, he wasn't simply portraying a woman. He was creating something eternal, an image that transcends its time, its subject, and its very medium. Da Vinci combined artistic sensitivity with scientific precision, giving life to a portrait that seems to breathe, to think, to whisper in silence. The Renaissance was an age of rebirth, a time when humanity sought to rediscover the wisdom of the ancients while pushing toward new horizons of knowledge. And Da Vinci stood at the heart of it all, embodying that restless spirit of discovery. In the Mona Lisa, he condensed not only the beauty of a single individual, but also a universal message, a reflection of humanity itself, mysterious and complex, fragile and eternal. Could this be why, centuries later, we still find ourselves captivated, unable to look away? Look closely at her expression. Some see serenity, others unease. Her smile seems to change, shifting between joy and melancholy, depending on who gazes upon her. What technique could produce such an illusion? Was it mere artistic mastery, or did Da Vinci embed something more, perhaps a secret language waiting to be decoded? Theories abound: hidden symbols, secret identities, even connections to mystical traditions. And yet, despite countless studies, no one has ever unraveled her mysteries completely. This is where the fascination lies. The painting refuses to give up all of its truths. It plays with us, pulling us deeper into Da Vinci's world, a world where art was not just representation, but revelation. What if the Mona Lisa is more than a portrait? What if she is a mirror, reflecting not just the Renaissance spirit but also the very questions we carry about identity, knowledge, and the universe itself? As we step into this journey together, prepare to look at the Mona Lisa in a way you may have never imagined. Stay with me until the end, because the secrets of this masterpiece are not only about Da Vinci's genius, they are about us, our perception, and our endless hunger for meaning. The cultural journey ahead will reveal how a single painting became more than art, transforming into a universal symbol that continues to haunt and inspire the human soul. And this is only the beginning. If this journey spoke to you and you want to keep uncovering hidden truths and fascinating stories together, make sure to subscribe. That way, you'll always be part of these explorations, discovering more with each new video. The Renaissance was not just a period of history, it was a complete transformation of the way humanity saw itself and the world. It was a mindset shift, a moment when people dared to believe that art, science, philosophy, and even daily life could be part of a single, harmonious journey. Leonardo da Vinci embodied this vision more than anyone else. His work was not only about painting or engineering, it was about revealing hidden truths that connected the human spirit with the mysteries of nature and the universe. That is why when we look at the Mona Lisa, we are not simply observing a portrait of a woman, we are standing face to face with a symbol of universal values, a mirror of what it means to be human. What strikes us most is how this painting transcends every boundary. She is not bound by her era, her clothing, or her supposed identity. She seems to belong everywhere and nowhere at once, carrying within her gaze a timeless energy that resonates across cultures and centuries. Her smile is subtle, almost fragile, but behind that delicate curve lies an ocean of meaning. It's as if Da Vinci managed to capture not just the likeness of one individual, but the essence of humanity itself, our contradictions, our emotions, our endless search for balance. Even after more than 500 years, the Mona Lisa continues to impact scholars, artists, and curious minds from every corner of the world. Each generation approaches her differently, projecting their own fears, dreams, and desires onto her face. This is why she never grows old, why she still draws millions of people to the Louvre, why entire books and studies are dedicated to her mysteries. She embodies the idea that true masterpieces are alive. They evolve with us. They change depending on the decisions we make, the mindset we carry, the hidden truth we are ready, or not ready, to face. Think about it. How many works of art can create this kind of dialogue with the observer, generation after generation? The Mona Lisa doesn't just exist on the canvas. She exists in our imagination, in our interpretations, in the subtle revelations that occur when we stand before her. And it is here that we start to understand Da Vinci's genius, not only as an artist, but as someone who grasped the profound impact of merging science and art into a single act of creation. He painted a face, but he also painted a universal experience, something that invites us to look beyond appearances and ask deeper questions about life itself. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic because the fascination with her enigmatic presence doesn't end here. Each detail of her smile, each brushstroke of her gaze, each shadow of the background carries layers of meaning waiting to be explored. This is where the journey becomes even more intriguing, leading us behind the scenes of what many consider the greatest masterpiece of all time. And before we continue, I'd love to know your perspective. Write in the comments. This makes sense to me. Share it if you've ever felt that strange connection when looking at a piece of art, that moment when you realize it speaks directly to you. The first great mystery that surrounds the Mona Lisa is her identity, a question that has echoed across centuries like a riddle without resolution. Who was this woman whose face became the most recognized in the history of art? Historians, researchers, and dreamers alike have spent lifetimes trying to uncover this hidden truth, proposing theories that reflect not only historical possibilities, but also the mindset of those who search for answers. Every possibility opens a different path, a different interpretation, and with each new revelation, the painting grows even more enigmatic. One of the most intriguing theories suggests that she may have been Isabella d'Este, a noblewoman whose presence shaped the cultural and political landscape of her time. Isabella was not just powerful. She was a patron of the arts, a woman of intellect, someone who embodied the Renaissance spirit of transformation. If the Mona Lisa were truly her, then Da Vinci may have sought to immortalize more than just a face. He would have captured influence, ambition, and the decisions of a woman who moved behind the scenes of history. Her image, if hidden in the layers of paint, becomes not only a portrait, but a symbol of power translated into art. Others, however, believe she could have been Costanza d'Avalos, Duchess of Francavilla, another figure of beauty and prestige. Imagine the impact of such a choice. To select a woman of status whose identity might never fully belong to the canvas, but whose elegance could become a timeless allegory. Costanza's life was marked by privilege and refinement, and if she indeed was the model, then Mona Lisa's mysterious smile might hold echoes of nobility, secrecy, and the subtle awareness of her own place in history. This possibility invites us to reflect on how Da Vinci used art not simply to portray individuals, but to weave them into the larger journey of humanity. What makes these theories so compelling is not merely who these women were, but the way their names open doors to broader reflections. Each proposed identity transforms the painting into something new, shifting our perception, altering the narrative, and reminding us of the power of perspective. The mystery itself becomes part of the artwork's genius. By leaving us with uncertainty, Da Vinci ensured that the Mona Lisa would never be confined to a single interpretation, but instead would live as an eternal puzzle, always sparking curiosity, always inviting new revelations. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because beyond these historical candidates lies the possibility that Da Vinci intended for her identity to remain forever uncertain, a deliberate decision that adds to the painting's allure. Could it be that the secret is not in who she was, but in what she represents? And before we move forward, I'd like to hear your perspective. Write in the comments. The mystery lives on. Share it if you believe that some secrets are meant not to be solved, but to keep us questioning and searching. The deeper we step into this mystery, the more we realize that the identity of the woman may not be the only enigma at play. The endless debates among historians, scientists, and art lovers reveal something powerful. The Mona Lisa is not just a portrait, it is a mirror of interpretation. Every new theory reflects the mindset of the time in which it was proposed, shaping her into something more than herself. This constant cycle of speculation ensures that she is never trapped by a single story, but instead remains alive, shifting and transforming through the ages. The hidden truth may not lie in a name at all, but in the way the painting impacts those who dare to look closely. What makes this even more fascinating is her expression, that strange smile which seems to defy any attempt at explanation. It is neither fully joyous nor completely sorrowful, as if suspended in a state of eternal ambiguity. This delicate balance unsettles the viewer, forcing us to confront the possibility that emotions cannot always be defined or neatly categorized. That haunting effect is precisely why people return to her again and again, searching for something familiar, yet always finding a new revelation. It's as though Da Vinci painted not an answer, but a question, and each person who gazes upon her must make their own decisions about what they see. Then comes her gaze, a feature that turns the experience of observing the painting into something almost personal. Many describe the sensation that no matter where they move, her eyes follow them, calm yet penetrating, present yet distant. This illusion is not accidental. It is the result of Da Vinci's mastery of perspective and sfumato, blending tones so seamlessly that the eyes appear alive. But beyond the technical brilliance lies a more profound impact. Her gaze creates a connection that transcends time, as if she is aware of being watched, aware of being studied, and aware of the centuries-long journey her image would travel. This combination of smile and gaze transforms the painting into something more than art. It becomes an experience, an encounter that each person interprets differently depending on their own emotions, state of mind, and inner world. For some, she seems serene, for others, haunting, and for many, both at once. This duality is precisely why the Mona Lisa resists definition, why she remains an eternal puzzle. Da Vinci may have known that by leaving her unresolved, he created a living mystery, one that reflects the complexity of human nature itself. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic because when we look past the surface of her expression and gaze, we begin to uncover not only the genius of technique, but the possibility that Da Vinci was embedding a philosophy about perception, reality, and the hidden truths that shape our understanding of the world. And I'd like you to reflect on something. Write in the comments, "I see her differently." Share it if you've ever had that moment when a piece of art or a single glance made you question what was real and what was illusion. When scientists began to study the Mona Lisa more closely, they discovered that what feels so alive in her expression is not a trick of chance, but the result of a deliberate and astonishing mastery of technique. Da Vinci understood how the human eye perceives light and shadow, and he used this knowledge to create something that felt both real and unreachable at the same time. Through his sfumato technique, blending tones with such delicacy that no brushstrokes are visible, he achieved a lifelike softness, an optical illusion that makes her smile shift and her gaze seem to follow you. It is as though he anticipated the modern study of perception centuries before neuroscience existed, leaving behind not only a painting, but a revelation about the way we see the world. This is where the mystery deepens, because beyond technique lies intention. Could it be that Da Vinci wanted us to feel uncertain, to experience that dissonance between what is real and what is imagined. That feeling of unease, of not being able to fully define her smile or decode her gaze, forces us to question not only the painting, but our own perceptions. It is an invitation to transformation, to step outside the obvious and search for hidden truths that may lie beneath the surface. And then there are the whispers of secret symbols. Many believe that Da Vinci, fascinated by science, philosophy, and esoteric traditions, might have embedded codes within the Mona Lisa. Letters, numbers, geometric patterns, small details so subtle that they go unnoticed until magnified under modern technology. Some claim to see faint initials in her eyes, perhaps his own, perhaps those of the model, as if he wanted to sign the painting in a way that only the most curious and persistent would ever discover. This possibility changes everything. The portrait no longer appears as a simple image, but as a message encrypted in paint, a puzzle meant to endure across centuries. What makes this idea so compelling is that it fits perfectly with the mindset of Da Vinci himself. He was never satisfied with superficial answers. His notebooks are filled with sketches, coded writings, and behind-the-scenes thoughts written backward, as though to conceal knowledge from casual eyes. If he encoded his private studies, why wouldn't he do the same with his art? Each brushstroke may carry not only beauty, but also intention, transforming the painting into a living document of his genius and his secrets. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because if symbols truly exist within the Mona Lisa, then every line, every shadow, every detail might be more than decoration. It could be part of a larger design, a hidden narrative waiting for those bold enough to interpret it. And tell me something. Write in the comments, "I love hidden codes." Share it if the idea of uncovering secret messages fascinates you as much as the painting itself, because perhaps art is not only what we see, but also what we are willing to search for. When our eyes drift away from Mona Lisa's face and settle on the background, an entirely new layer of mystery begins to unfold. That landscape, often overlooked in the shadow of her smile, holds its own hidden truth. It is not a simple depiction of nature, nor is it a faithful record of a place that existed. Instead, it feels dreamlike, almost surreal, as if Da Vinci wanted to transport us into a world that exists both behind the canvas and within our imagination. This scenery doesn't just frame the figure, it transforms the portrait into a journey, a passage between reality and symbolism that invites us to question what lies beyond appearances. Look closely and you notice the duality that shapes this horizon. On one side, the land is fertile, calm, almost welcoming, suggesting growth, renewal, and harmony. On the other side, the terrain turns harsh, rocky, and unstable, as if it were a reflection of struggle, chaos, and uncertainty. Da Vinci, who studied not only art but also geology, anatomy, and philosophy, may have used this contrast to represent balance, light and shadow, order and disorder, serenity and turbulence. It is a visual metaphor for the decisions we face in life, where every path holds both promise and challenge. The impact of this contrast is subtle, but it lingers in the viewer's mind, shaping the way we perceive the painting as a whole. Some scholars go even further, interpreting this landscape as a spiritual allegory. In this vision, Mona Lisa herself becomes a bridge between two realms, the inner and the outer, the material and the spiritual, the visible and the invisible. Her expression, serene yet elusive, combined with the mystical quality of the background, suggests a reflection on humanity itself. She is not only a woman but also a symbol of our inner world, carrying within her smile the secrets of consciousness, and within the landscape, the vast unknown of existence. This blending of figure and environment creates an inseparable unity, reminding us that we are not isolated beings, but part of a greater fabric, a continuous flow between nature, soul, and universe. This interpretation shifts the way we see the painting. It is no longer just about who she was or how she was painted. It is about what she represents. Every detail becomes a revelation. The winding rivers symbolizing the flow of life, the bridges suggesting transitions and connections, the mountains echoing endurance and permanence. Da Vinci may have intended for us to feel the impact of this scenery not just with our eyes, but with our mindset, to sense that we too live suspended between two worlds, navigating a landscape of opposites and hidden meanings. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because the more we allow ourselves to enter this painted world, the more we realize that Mona Lisa is not just an image. It is an invitation to reflect on transformation, on the choices we make, and on the secrets that lie quietly behind the scenes of our daily lives. And I'd love to know your perspective. Write in the comments, "I see the duality." Share it if you've ever felt that life itself mirrors the same balance of harmony and chaos, serenity and storm. When we look at the Mona Lisa through the lens of Da Vinci's personal beliefs, the painting begins to reveal itself as much more than a portrait. Leonardo was not only an artist but also a thinker obsessed with uncovering the hidden truths of existence. He believed that art, science, and philosophy were not separate paths, but parts of the same journey toward understanding life, nature, and the universe. The Mona Lisa, in this sense, becomes a reflection of his worldview, a synthesis of everything he studied, questioned, and dreamed. Her face does not simply represent a sitter. It embodies the balance he sought between knowledge and mystery, reason, and wonder. Some interpretations go even further, suggesting that within the curves and shadows of the painting, there may be echoes of anatomy. Da Vinci's fascination with the human body is well documented. His notebooks are filled with dissections, sketches of muscles, veins, and organs. Scholars have pointed out that certain shapes in the background and in her clothing resemble forms of human anatomy, almost as if Da Vinci embedded a coded layer of medical knowledge behind the portrait. If true, this would not only highlight his brilliance, but also his desire to fuse art with science, turning a portrait into a map of life itself. Imagine the impact of such a revelation. Every brushstroke carrying dual meanings, every curve serving as both beauty and biology. Her smile, too, takes on a new dimension when viewed from this perspective. It is not just the smile of a woman, but a symbol of harmony, a subtle representation of the union between body and spirit. Da Vinci understood the psychology of expression better than anyone of his time, and he used that mastery to create something that feels alive, complex, and profound. The smile seems to exist on the edge of contradiction, warm yet distant, peaceful yet unsettling. It reflects the human condition itself, the constant search for balance between our emotions and our reason, between our inner turbulence and our outer calm. This is perhaps why the smile has remained so magnetic. It resonates with the dualities we all carry within us. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because when we start to see the Mona Lisa not only as a painting, but as a philosophical statement, as a coded reflection of anatomy and spirit, we begin to understand why she continues to captivate the world. Each detail becomes a revelation, each shadow a doorway into Da Vinci's mind, and each expression a reminder of the delicate balance that shapes the human experience. And I'd love to hear your perspective. Write in the comments. Balance is everything. Share it if you believe that harmony between body, mind, and spirit is one of the greatest hidden truths of life. Da Vinci's genius was never confined to a single discipline, and the Mona Lisa is perhaps the clearest reflection of that truth. His scientific background shaped the way he saw the human form, and his endless dissections and anatomical studies gave him a profound understanding of how muscles, tendons, and skin worked together to create expression. When he painted Mona Lisa's face, he wasn't simply copying what he saw, he was constructing it from the inside out, applying knowledge of facial muscles to capture subtleties that would make her appear alive. This is why her expression feels so elusive. It shifts with our mindset, changing as if she herself were in dialogue with us, adapting to the decisions we make about how to perceive her. The sfumato technique, one of Da Vinci's most remarkable innovations, played a crucial role in this transformation of art. Instead of relying on harsh outlines or visible strokes, he blurred contours, softening every edge until the transitions between light and shadow became invisible. The result is a dreamlike quality, a softness that defies definition and creates the sensation that the painting is breathing. Sfumato isn't just a technique, It is an approach to perception, a way of reminding us that reality itself is not made of sharp lines, but of subtle shifts and gradations. Just as in life, the truth often lies not in absolutes, but in the spaces in between. When applied to Mona Lisa's smile and gaze, sfumato achieves something extraordinary. Her expression changes depending on the angle, the light, even the mood of the observer. Sometimes her lips seem to curve upward with warmth. Other times they fall into a trace of melancholy. It's as though Da Vinci painted not one emotion, but the entire spectrum, leaving the final interpretation in the hands of those who look at her. That is the impact of sfumato. It transforms a static image into a dynamic experience, one that continues to evolve across centuries. This technique also reveals something about Da Vinci's mindset. He was a man who believed that truth was layered, never singular, and that art should mirror that complexity. Just as he blurred the lines in paint, he blurred the boundaries between science and art, philosophy and observation, creating work that exists in the realm of revelations rather than mere representation. Every shadow, every gradient in the Mona Lisa is a reminder that hidden truths are not always meant to be seen directly, but sensed, intuited, and discovered through careful attention. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic because the way Da Vinci used technique as philosophy, transforming brushstrokes into a meditation on perception, opens the door to even greater mysteries within the painting. Mysteries that remind us how art can become a journey into the very essence of being. And I'd love to hear your reflection. Write in the comments, "I see the layers." Share it if you believe that the most powerful truths are often hidden in the subtle transitions that most people overlook. There is a point where the Mona Lisa begins to transcend the boundaries of portraiture and enters the realm of symbol. Many have argued that she is not merely the likeness of a single woman, but rather an embodiment of universal femininity, a timeless representation of womanhood itself. Her expression carries the essence of softness and strength, delicacy and depth, qualities that go beyond identity and touch something archetypal. In this reading, Da Vinci may have been painting more than a sitter. He may have been capturing the eternal feminine, the force of creation and mystery that threads through every culture and every age. It is not simply about who she was, but about what she represents in the collective imagination. For some, this symbolic quality takes the form of motherhood. Her gentle demeanor, her poised serenity, and the quiet warmth of her gaze evoke nurturing, continuity, and life-giving presence. Within the Renaissance mindset, motherhood was not only a personal role, but also an emblem of creation itself, a reflection of nature's capacity to bring forth life. If Mona Lisa embodies this archetype, then her smile may be more than an ambiguous expression. It may carry the weight of compassion, protection, and the infinite cycle of beginnings. This interpretation deepens the painting's impact, transforming it into a meditation on origins and the hidden truths of existence. And yet, while scholars debate these interpretations, the painting's journey through history adds another layer to its enigmatic power. The Mona Lisa has not always been safely behind glass in the Louvre. She has endured theft, disappearance, and vandalism. In 1911, when she was stolen from the museum, her absence created a sensation, turning her from a masterpiece into a legend. Newspapers around the world printed her image, and people who had never stepped into a gallery suddenly knew her face. That theft, paradoxically, amplified her fame. Later, she survived attacks that left marks on her surface but could not diminish her aura. Each event became part of her story, making her not only a painting but also a survivor of human obsession, envy, and desire. What is fascinating is how these turbulent moments have shaped the way we perceive her. They remind us that art is not only about the canvas, it is about the journey it takes, the impact it leaves behind, the decisions people make around it. The Mona Lisa has become more than Da Vinci's creation. She is also the product of history's chaos, of the choices and actions that placed her in danger, only to elevate her further into myth. It is almost as if her story mirrors her own expression, serene on the surface, yet holding behind-the-scenes layers of turbulence and resilience. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because when we trace how the painting's symbolic interpretations intersect with its dramatic history, we begin to see that her mystery is not only in what Da Vinci created, but also in what the world projected onto her across centuries. And I'd love to know your perspective. Write in the comments. She is eternal. Share it if you believe that what makes the Mona Lisa extraordinary is not only the genius of Da Vinci, but the way her story has survived transformation, chaos, and time itself. The irony of history is that sometimes absence creates more impact than presence. When the Mona Lisa was stolen in 1911, what could have been a devastating loss instead ignited a cultural transformation. Her disappearance became front-page news across the globe, and people who had never set foot in the Louvre suddenly knew her face. The mystery of where she was, who had taken her, and whether she would ever return elevated her status from masterpiece to legend. The theft itself became part of her story, proof that she was no longer just a painting but a phenomenon. When she was finally recovered, she returned not as the same portrait, but as the world's most famous face, carrying with her the weight of fascination born out of absence. But fame alone wasn't enough to explain the aura surrounding her. Over time, the Mona Lisa began to attract theories that pushed her deeper into the realm of the hidden truth. Some claimed Da Vinci had embedded esoteric knowledge within her lines, codes connected to mystical traditions and secret societies. For those who believe in these possibilities, the painting is more than art. It is a cipher, a message disguised as beauty, a puzzle inviting only the most curious to attempt its solution. Whether fact or imagination, these interpretations reveal how much power one image can have over the human mindset, inspiring entire movements of thought, speculation, and obsession. The cultural journey did not stop there. Books and films amplified the allure, taking scattered theories and weaving them into gripping narratives. Works like the Da Vinci Code gave new life to old mysteries, suggesting that behind the serenity of Mona Lisa's smile could lie secrets about religion, history, or even humanity's destiny. While scholars may dismiss these ideas, their impact on the public is undeniable. Millions who had never cared about Renaissance art suddenly looked closer, searching her eyes, her smile, her background for revelations, hidden in plain sight. The line between fact and fiction blurred, and yet the painting thrived in that space, feeding on curiosity and the endless human desire for meaning. This is where we begin to see how the Mona Lisa is not just a work of art, but a mirror of the decisions we make as a culture. We choose to see codes. We choose to imagine conspiracies. We choose to believe there is more than meets the eye. And in doing so, we keep her alive, not as a static image on the wall of a museum, but as a living mystery, one that evolves with every new interpretation. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic because once we step beyond the surface of art and enter the world of myth, we begin to understand why this portrait continues to exert such influence, why her smile has become the perfect canvas for humanity's imagination. And tell me something. Write in the comments. I believe in the mystery. Share it if you've ever felt that behind beauty, there is always more than what we are allowed to see. Her smile has become the ultimate paradox, a subtle curve that has challenged scientists, psychologists, and artists for centuries. Some studies suggest that depending on the viewer's mood, the brain interprets the smile differently, shifting between warmth, melancholy, and mystery. It is almost as if Da Vinci anticipated the variability of human perception, embedding within a single expression an entire spectrum of emotions. This is why her presence feels so alive, because she reflects not just one state of being, but the transformation of our own mindset as we confront her gaze. She becomes a mirror of ourselves, and that is what makes the impact so profound. What is remarkable is how this enigmatic expression has created a universal appeal that transcends culture, language, and time. Whether you are a scholar tracing every brushstroke, a traveler who has waited hours just to stand in front of her, or someone encountering her image for the first time in a book or film, the connection feels strangely personal. People from every corner of the world recognize something familiar in her, something that stirs both curiosity and unease. It is a reminder that art, at its highest form, reaches beyond borders and beliefs to touch something deeper, a hidden truth that binds humanity together. This global fascination has made her not only an icon of art, but also a symbol of shared human experience. Millions every year travel to Paris just for a glimpse, often describing the encounter as surreal, almost spiritual. Yet what many don't realize is that behind the scenes, the Mona Lisa is protected with extraordinary care. She rests behind bulletproof glass in a climate-controlled case, with layers of security designed to ensure that no harm will come to her again. Every decision made around her preservation reflects not only caution but reverence, as if safeguarding her is a responsibility owed not only to the Louvre but to the entire world. And yet, there is something almost poetic in this contrast. A painting meant to embody serenity and universality now lives in confinement, separated from those who long to connect with her more closely. Visitors often describe the experience as both thrilling and frustrating, the joy of seeing her balanced with the reality of distance and barriers. This tension only deepens her allure, reminding us that some mysteries are meant to be admired but never fully possessed. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic because beyond the security glass and the controlled atmosphere lies another question. What does it mean that one single painting holds such power over generations, inspiring devotion, protection, and endless study? And tell me, I'd love your reflection. Write in the comments, "She reflects me." Share it if you've ever felt that her expression seemed to echo something within you, a hidden emotion you couldn't quite explain. Every year, millions of people make the journey to Paris for one reason: to stand in front of a painting that measures just over 2.5 feet in height, yet holds the world in its gaze. The Mona Lisa attracts more attention than almost any other artwork in history, not simply because she is famous, but because she has become a global icon. For many, seeing her in person is like a pilgrimage, a moment that transcends sightseeing and becomes a personal milestone. And what is fascinating is that, despite the crowds, the barriers, and the brief glimpse most visitors manage to steal, the impact remains profound. It's as if each person feels they are part of a larger story, a shared human experience centered on one enigmatic smile. Part of this magnetism lies in the way the painting fuses two seemingly separate worlds. The Mona Lisa is not just art, it is also science. Da Vinci's technical genius, born of endless dissections, sketches, and experiments, is woven seamlessly into the fabric of his imagination. Every layer of sfumato, every detail of anatomy, every gradation of light reveals a mind that refused to separate observation from creation. What we see in the Mona Lisa is the triumph of integration, the belief that art and science are not enemies but companions in the pursuit of truth. This blending is perhaps the hidden truth of the Renaissance itself. The courage to unite what others kept apart, to trust that beauty and knowledge could exist as one. And yet, the most remarkable quality of the painting may be its role as a cultural mirror. Each generation, each society, each viewer projects their own fears, desires, and values onto her. In times of optimism, her smile is read as serenity. In times of uncertainty, it becomes haunting. She does not change, but we do. And through us, she acquires new meanings. This is the secret of her timelessness. She absorbs the mindset of the age, reflecting not just herself, but the entire journey of humanity. In her face, we see echoes of ourselves, our doubts, our revelations, our search for harmony in a world that constantly shifts. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because when we begin to trace how her expression adapts to our own transformations, we start to uncover not only Da Vinci's brilliance, but also the profound impact of art as a mirror of the human condition. And tell me, what about you? Write in the comments. She reflects us all. Share it if you believe that her power lies not only in her mystery, but in the way she silently reveals the hidden truths of every era. Even with all the centuries of fascination, the Mona Lisa continues to invite new eyes, this time not only from art historians, but from the most advanced technologies of our age. Infrared scans, multispectral imaging, and digital reconstructions have all been used in an attempt to peel back the surface and reveal what lies beneath her enigmatic smile. These modern investigations feel like stepping behind the scenes of Da Vinci's workshop, watching him at work as he layered his vision onto the panel. The irony is that the more we uncover, the more elusive she seems to become, as if the painting itself resists full disclosure, guarding its hidden truths with quiet persistence. What these studies have revealed is that the Mona Lisa was not born in a single moment of inspiration, but through years of adjustments, corrections, and decisions. Beneath the surface lie earlier sketches and alternative outlines, proof that Da Vinci continually reworked details in pursuit of perfection. Her position, her features, even the way her hands are placed show traces of evolution, as though the painting grew and transformed over time, just as human beings do. This layered process makes the work not only a masterpiece of technique, but also a record of Da Vinci's relentless mindset, his refusal to settle for anything less than the absolute harmony he envisioned. And yet, despite all these revelations, the Mona Lisa continues to embody mystery itself. Every answer leads to new questions. Every discovery opens another path, and her smile still defies absolute explanation. Perhaps that is why her impact endures, because she is not a puzzle to be solved but a journey to be experienced. She carries within her the essence of ambiguity, a balance between revelation and concealment that ensures she will never be reduced to a single truth. In this way, she has become more than art. She has become a symbol of mystery as a force that transforms, inspires, and compels us to keep searching. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because if the Mona Lisa truly embodies mystery itself, then her place in history is not secured by what we know about her, but by what we may never know. She reminds us that some of the most powerful impacts in life are born not from certainty, but from wonder. And I'd love to hear your voice in this. Write in the comments, "Mystery gives life." Share it if you believe that unanswered questions are sometimes the very things that keep our journey moving forward. Da Vinci's genius is nowhere more alive than in the Mona Lisa, a painting that seems less like an object and more like a living testament to his boundless curiosity. He was not satisfied with painting a likeness. He was seeking something universal, a truth that would speak across centuries. Every decision he made on that panel, every adjustment, every layer, every shadow, was guided by his relentless pursuit of harmony between art and science, imagination and observation. The result is a portrait that does not merely reflect the sitter, but the very essence of Da Vinci's restless spirit. His search for knowledge, his fascination with the hidden mechanics of life, and his desire to bridge the visible with the invisible all converge here, crystallized in a single enigmatic figure. What makes this so extraordinary is that the Mona Lisa is not locked in the past. She carries forward the mindset of transformation, embodying the timeless pursuit of meaning that defines the human journey. Her smile is more than expression. It is an unanswered question, one that reminds us that certainty is not always the goal. Instead, the value lies in the mystery itself, in the revelations that emerge not from solving her, but from contemplating her. In this way, she becomes a mirror for our own inner search, a reflection of the hidden truths we carry and the choices we face about how to interpret the world. Her enigma is eternal, because it was never meant to be resolved. That is the secret of her lasting impact. Da Vinci painted ambiguity on purpose, knowing that mystery itself has the power to outlast clarity. Facts can fade, answers can be forgotten, but questions linger, reshaping themselves in every new era. This is why she continues to fascinate, why people cross oceans just to see her, why scholars still dedicate their lives to her study. The Mona Lisa endures not because she tells us everything, but because she withholds just enough, compelling us to lean closer, to wonder, to imagine. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because when we consider how Da Vinci poured his vision of universal truths into this portrait, we begin to see that the Mona Lisa is not only a masterpiece of paint and technique, it is a map of human curiosity itself, one that will never stop guiding us toward mystery. And I'd love your reflection. Write in the comments, "Curiosity never ends." Share it if you believe that the power of questions, more than the comfort of answers, is what keeps humanity moving forward. If you made it all the way here, it probably means this journey through Da Vinci's masterpiece resonated with you in some way. That's why I'd love for you to stay connected. Go ahead and subscribe, because this space is all about exploring ideas, hidden truths, and revelations that leave us with more to think about than when we started. And since you've been with me until the very end, drop a comment saying, "I'm with you until the end." It'll be our way of knowing who stayed immersed in the story from start to finish. A like on this video also helps keep this conversation alive, almost like adding another layer to the painting itself. Simple, but meaningful. And if your curiosity is still awake, there's a video right here that complements this topic. Click and continue with me over there. The journey doesn't stop here.